Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Bonus Coast 1 and welcome back to G3T Channel TV in 4K Ultra HD. Now today you guys, I'm bringing you guys another discussion video on Battlefield. And in our last video, we talked about the weapon predictions that I had, and you guys had an interesting discussion with me in the comments on what weapons and vehicles you wanted to see, and I'd like to continue that. So, today we're going to be talking about the current / next gen version or PC versions of Battlefield compared to the last gen versions of Battlefield. Now, if you haven't been keeping up, recently it was confirmed during the EA earnings call that the next game will in fact be on both current gen and last gen consoles. Now, this kind of left some people a little eerie feeling because in the past we have seen certain aspects of games being held back by old hardware, including in the Battlefield series. Now, I'm not sure if this game is going to be held back by last gen. I'm hoping it won't, and I'm hoping that both versions will be enjoyable, but it's pretty obvious from the wording they gave in the investors call that the real version of the game is going to be on next gen and PC. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean? To be honest, I'm thinking that if you're on the newer systems as well as PC, that you're pretty much good to go. You're going to get the optimal experience of the game. But the problem comes in with this last gen port. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to hold the game back in any way, but I do believe that the last gen version is going to be quite watered down from what we're getting. And by that I mean we're not going to get any of these advertised features on last gen, and there's a big possibility in my mind that people will see this amazing reveal trailer, this amazing smoke simulation, dynamic weather, dynamic destruction, all this crazy stuff happening, like more players than ever, all in one massive lobby. And none of that will come to last gen, and then people will make an outcry because the last gen version is going to sell a lot, you guys. There's a lot more of those systems out in the wild these days, and up until the new systems become more available to us, I was lucky enough to get one on day one, but until those new systems are available, it's going to be like that for a while. And I feel like it was a last minute decision to make the last gen port. As we saw last year, the game was pretty much delayed to this year, and the reasoning for that was they wanted more people to get these PS5s and Series X and S's, but that never turned out to be the case, even though, I mean, they are selling incredibly well still, but not as well as EA wanted, mainly due to all the factors going on with the recent pandemic and being unable to produce parts for the systems and whatnot. And the same thing goes for PC, so it makes sense to make a last gen version. It's not like it doesn't make sense to make a last gen version. They got to get that money, you guys, but at what cost is my question. And that's today's discussion topic. So feel free, as always, to type in the comments and let me know what you guys think about this current / next gen / PC versus last gen port. What are we going to see? What differences are we going to see? What do you think? Let me know. I want to discuss this with you guys. So I'm going to start off with something very simple, which is the player count limit. Now, a lot of people think we're going to get two different versions of the game, and some people think it's going to be the same game, and somehow people are going to be able to play cross-gen. I don't think that's possible, and the reason for that is that pretty much every Battlefield on this last generation has been limited to 30 hertz for each 64-player server, whether that's Battlefield 4, 1, 5, I think Hardline as well, not sure about that one to be honest. But pretty much all of these games have been limited to 30 Hz on console, while the PC version was 60 Hz. And I'm thinking that these next-gen versions are also going to be 60 Hz along with the PC, and it's just not technically possible to mix like server tick rates like that. It just doesn't work. And then there's also destruction and stuff like that that comes into mind. How would they be able to mix that, blend that between different generations of the game? I just don't see it happening. So last gen version is definitely going to be limited to 64 players, while the next gen / current gen and PC versions will be getting that player count boost. But I do think there is a slight possibility we might see some sort of cross-gen compatibility in this upcoming free-to-play standalone battle royale mode. I believe that might be like a slightly watered down than the main game, so it can run on all systems and everyone can play together, and I think that's fine. I think that would be pretty cool to see. So we're gonna move on to the actual gameplay now, and you can see this Battlefield 5 footage in the background where I'm tossing the shaped charge, basically messing with the ground deformation in the game. And we've been dealing with this type of ground deformation since Bad Company 1, and back then this was extremely impressive for 2008. I have to tell you guys, when I first saw this back in the day, I was shocked the amount of interactivity you could have was mind-blowing back then. But this type of stuff just doesn't cut it anymore. And I think we're going to see a difference here. We're going to see the simple ground deformation on last gen, while the next gen version, as you can see here, will also get the Battlefield 5 crash landing system of sorts, where the plane kind of runs itself into the ground, whether that's an Apache or an Osprey or some sort of 6th generation near future jet fighter, just plummets into the ground and creates this giant array of dirt everywhere flying, and it just leaves a path of destruction. And I'm also showing you guys this preset plane from Battlefield 5 to give you an idea of what that would look like. So just imagine this but actually happening in game instead of just being a preset prop laying on the ground. This would be absolutely incredible. And maybe on the last gen version they'll just have these simple props laying around like they do on Battlefield 5. I don't know what's going to happen there, but this is definitely going to be something to look out for in between these two games. Moving right along, let's talk bullet penetration. As you can see in this clip here in the Firestorm pre-lobby, I'm firing away at this wall with this 9mm Sten, and it's not really doing anything but leaving textures until it breaks a few holes open. And of course the anti-tank rifle will break a hole open immediately depending on where you shoot. But this isn't true bullet penetration, you guys. This is just micro destruction that we've had since Bad Company 1. Now, although there is bullet penetration in Battlefield 5, which I'll show you guys in a bit, you can see here the system isn't very dynamic. It's all preset. The bullets that make the hole don't pass through. Only the shots that go into the hole afterwards pass through. It's a really weird system, and it was kind of impressive back in the day, and they've kind of toned down the usage of this. We saw it a lot in Bad Company games. We saw it in the Battlefield 3 Close Quarters DLC, as well as in a few maps on Battlefield 4 and 1. But this is the only example in Battlefield 5 that I can find of this feature that features this like concrete, not just like the fences or whatnot, the wooden fences. But as you can see, it's not super impressive. And moving along to this Battlefield 5 clip, you can see in the reveal trailer how the bullets penetrated the walls, how they were advertising this, and it's in slow motion here for you guys. It was really advertised as something it wasn't, and that was mainly due to the constraints of last gen consoles, I believe. And here we have me firing the reveal trailer MG42 into this wooden structure right here, and the bullets, as you can see, do pass through the building. They pass through, but you're just getting textures. You're not getting any actual pass through. There's no light shining. The building isn't actually being destroyed in any way. Like I said, just textures. It's good, but it's not good enough. I feel like it was a little underwhelming in Battlefield 5, especially the damage, because you would tickle people, especially with the MMGs. They kind of advertised it as being able to rip through these walls and murk people across sandbags and whatnot. And none of that really happened in the game, unfortunately. There were a few times where you were able to get a lucky kill, I would say, through bullet penetration, but most of the time you weren't. And as you see, I'm firing this Panzerbuch into the door. I'm shooting the bottom of the door. You see the texture, but the top of the door breaks like that. It just doesn't make sense. And I think at this point we can do a lot better than these preset micro destruction events in Battlefield. And as you see in this real short clip right here of the campaign and of the Elise trailer, you can see how it would have worked on wooden structures as well. You see the light passing through, sort of creating this God ray effect. Really impressive stuff, and I think we will see this type of bullet penetration even more advanced, actually deteriorating objects and weakening things to where a light explosion would destroy it completely, if that makes sense, in this next gen / current gen / PC version. While the last gen version will probably get the Battlefield 5 bullet penetration as well as the micro destruction of previous titles, but this time the bullet penetration will actually damage you a lot more. I feel like they were just testing the waters with Battlefield 5, but it will actually damage you a lot more. Going into the next part of the video here, check out the smoke simulation or lack thereof in Battlefield 5, as I'm just tossing smoke in like 3 different scenes here, and you'll see that it isn't really dynamic in any way. It's just a preset smoke animation that just pours through anything. You can throw it in any type of building, any solid object, and it'll just go right through it in its own way. Now, there was a sense of dynamic smoke in Battlefield 1, but the problem there was that it didn't really flow around objects. It still leaked through unrealistically, and the only real dynamic stuff going on there was that you could like toss a grenade into the smoke and it would sort of react to it, or if a different explosion went off nearby, it would react to it. But that was really the limit at that time. And plus, the BF1 smoke was client side, I believe. So what you saw was actually different from what other people on the server saw. So that's why in Battlefield 5 they changed it. They had to slightly downgrade it, unfortunately, but it became server side, so everyone saw the same thing, and there wasn't any more gameplay variation where it actually would mess up gameplay. As you see here, I'm throwing smoke into the White House on Rotterdam, and it's just going straight through. And at the same time, I'm throwing smoke on the ground and tossing a grenade into the smoke, and there's no reaction at all, which has to lead us straight into this EA Play demo, as well as the recent video leak of the Battlefield 5 rocket trailer. And as you can see, the smoke simulation, this new engine that DICE has been working on, adding onto Frostbite for smoke simulation, this looks absolutely incredible in these two clips. You can see the plate or the block being moved back, and the smoke starts reacting to that in real time, as well as the rocket crashing into the building. You see everything happening in its own way dynamically. Really cool stuff. And I can just imagine, I can picture a scene in the next Battlefield game where there's a room and it's just filled with smoke, and someone shoots a small hole into it, and all that smoke starts seeping out slowly but surely, and eventually all the smoke comes out of the rooms. Just something like that would be absolutely incredible. It would really show off the power of these new systems, as well as the latest and greatest PC hardware, and I'd love to see something like this. And I'm thinking that this is what we're going to get on these systems, while the last gen port will likely get something similar to the Battlefield 1 smoke, where it's somewhat dynamic, but it's limited. Hopefully, I'm not sure, but hopefully it is server side like it was in Battlefield 5, so last gen can get the most optimal experience that the systems can handle. We're gonna briefly go into movement additions. So I think that most of the movement additions that we will see in this upcoming game will make it on both versions. I don't think movement is something that would be too limited. I think they can still stretch out the last gen consoles a bit more as far as movement goes, as there was supposed to be shooting from ladders in Battlefield 5, and I actually think Modern Warfare got that idea from DICE because they sort of announced that they were going to come out with this feature around the time of Battlefield 5's launch, way before Modern Warfare was revealed. And it's kind of interesting how Infinity Ward picked that up and actually managed to implement what DICE was going to do but was unable to do in Battlefield 5. So that's one thing. Obviously, firing from ladders is probably going to be in both versions. It's going to be similar to Modern Warfare in my opinion, and we'll see whether it's just sidearms or if they'll even let you like shoot a mini SMG or something like that. Who knows? I think we're also going to get a refined prone system as well as a bipod system, which is going to be far smoother than what we had in Battlefield 5. Now, the MMGs, in my opinion, were an interesting concept and they could have worked, but the bipod system was just holding it back. I think if they really freshen out this bipod system, they could even bring this MMG concept back and it might even work full time. We'll see what happens with that. I'm also thinking we're going to keep the vehicle animations, the entering and exiting. I don't think we're going to go back to the classic pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out style. I think it's going to be pretty cool to see, you know, someone eject from a jet or eject from a jet yourself. It's probably going to look really nice and detailed, and I think it's going to be a lot smoother and more fluid, so to speak. You probably will be able to look around mid-animation. Maybe you'll even be able to shoot your gun while you're trying to go into a tank. I don't know how it will work, but it would be pretty interesting nonetheless. Now, animations for medic and squad revives I think are also going to be refined. I don't think we're going to get the classic defibs. We might get it. Maybe that will be a medic only perk of some kind, as we've been hearing perks are going to be in the game. But I'm thinking we're going to get a short defib for a medic and a long revive for squad mates. I think that system will return. And I think dragging down teammates will probably return, or not return, I should say, will make it into the game. It was supposed to be in Battlefield 5, as many of you know, but it was just one of many canceled features for that game. And I'm not sure whether it was the systems holding it back or not. If it was the systems, then there is a chance it could just be next gen only / PC only. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But those are the main movement additions that I think we'll see. There might be some other stuff. Maybe they'll refine the ledge grabbing system. Maybe you'll be able to hold onto a ledge and kind of move side to side like it's Uncharted or something. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff they can do. There's still a lot of room for improvement in my opinion, and I think Battlefield 1 and 5 made some great additions, so we're going to see what happens. Going into our last part of the discussion, destruction. What upgrades are we going to see with the Frostbite engine in terms of destruction? Now, I think this is going to cause the most outcry from people who are going to buy the last gen version, because we've already seen the EA Play demo, we've seen this leaked Rocket trailer, and I think the reveal trailer is going to show, whether it's the Rocket trailer or not, regardless, is going to show amazing destruction, dynamic destruction. It's going to look ridiculously good, and people are going to buy this regardless of what system they're on. They're going to buy this thinking, oh, this is what I'm going to get. And I'm pretty sure pre-orders are going to go live the day the trailer goes live, you guys. So, you know, people are already going to be pre-ordering, and they're going to be let down when they hop on the game and it turns out, well, you have Battlefield 5 destruction, or maybe something a little bit better than that. I don't think they're going to be able to push the systems any further. Those systems are really old. Destruction in Battlefield is very CPU intensive, you guys, and the CPUs on the PS4, the Xbox One, the PS4 Pro, and even the Xbox One X are all AMD Jaguar CPUs, which are extremely outdated today. They were even outdated on release. It was very anemic at the time, and I just don't think it's going to happen. At the very best, what we could see is, say, in a whatever city map you want to imagine, buildings falling dynamically on next gen / PC. Those same buildings would they would be mapped for Levolution, so they would fall statically like they did in Battlefield 4. I think that's the best case scenario for last gen systems, a mix of Battlefield 4's Levolution and Battlefield 5's somewhat dynamic destruction. I think that's the best thing that last gen systems are going to get. In terms of next gen and PC, you guys already know we're going to get absolutely blown away by this trailer, and most of it is probably going to make it into the live game, which I'm extremely excited for. You're going to get that massive, large-scale dynamic destruction that will probably mesh very well with the three-dimensional, so to speak, bullet penetration system that's probably going to also make it into the game. So I can just imagine how amazing that's going to look, and I think we're all going to have something to look forward to very soon with this reveal trailer. And that pretty much marks the end of this discussion video, you guys. Let me know what you guys think. I want to know what predictions you guys have. Do you think there's going to be an outcry from last gen players? Are you a last gen player? Do you plan on getting this game on PS4 or Xbox One? Because, you know, the systems are just impossible to get right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you want to build a PC, the parts prices are absolutely ridiculous right now as well. So let me know, do you guys think, for example, the destruction is going to be the way it is, or is it going to be better? Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be in the comments reading everything. I'll be replying as long as it's relevant. If you enjoyed the discussion, please like the video, please comment, please subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel up this year. We got Battlefield coming up. We got more vlog videos coming up. Everything is going to be on this channel. Everything you want to see, I'm going to try and produce. Let me know what you guys want to see. Thanks for watching. Bonus Coast 1, G3T Channel TV in 4K Ultra HD, signing out.